subscribe our channel, stay till the end of the stories for more twist and turn. Comment us about what kind of stories you like to hear. My 20 female dad, 50, is hitting on my adopted maternal cousin, 21 female. I'm sorry, I have no one to talk to. I don't really want to bother my friends and hurt my mom's feelings again. Anyway, so here's the story of my complicated life. My parents were teenage lovers but were separated because my dad had to go to another town for college. They met again after 13 years. At that time, my dad was married but was separated from his wife, and so he and mom had a relationship and they had me. After some time, my dad announced that he wants to get back with his wife and left my mom and me. After 10 years, as they were fixing child support arrangements for me, they met again and my dad manipulated my mom and led her to believe that this time he really was separated for good with his wife, and they had my sister only for him to announce that he is getting back together with his wife again. Now, my mom encouraged me to still have communication with him despite her not being on good terms with him. And so, with social media, I have kept my communication with him and we bonded while I'm growing up, and had a kinda good relationship. In fact, now that I'm in college, as I'm still dependent on my parents, I'm living with my dad and his family because they were living nearer to my campus. We needed to cut costs. But since quarantine, I've moved back with my mom and is still now with her. Earlier, while I was on Facebook, I saw my adopted cousin's thirst trap post, to which my dad commented, "Wow, you're hot." And I've immediately chatted her and asked about it, and she said my dad has been hitting on her since last year through commenting on her posts and through her DMs, and she was just ignoring him. Now, I'm purely disgusted. I don't know if I can confront my dad about this. I can't even tell my mom because I don't know if her wounds have healed from her past situation. I don't know what to do. I can't study. I can't do my tasks. I just wanna disappear into thin air. Dad never surpassed age 15. This is one of those situations where when someone shows you who they are, you need to believe them. I know you want to see the best in your dad, but truth is he's not a good person. He has already caused so much pain for your family, and for him to not have learned anything these years really says a lot. You said they were teenage lovers and some indiscretions can be chopped up to that, but he is now an adult. There is no excuse for him to be still acting like this. I think you should tell your mom, at least this way you can control how it's told to her and comfort her. If you were able to see his comments, many others have too, and they might not be as caring. Your cousin can block your dad and probably should. Don't think too much more about this op. There's nothing you can do and it's not your fault. Wow, I'm sorry, but your dad is a dick. It's kinda disgusting since she is almost the same age as you. It would be weird for you to call your dad out on this. Isn't your cousin bothered by him? This is really complicated. I know your relationship with your dad is important, but he should be told as being inappropriate, maybe by your cousin's parents. They definitely should know about it. Your mom, I hope, is doing well. She'll probably find out about it, but maybe it would be better if your cousin's parents handle it. Your cousin definitely needs to tell them, and if she's not comfortable telling him to stop, they need to. I'm sorry you're in such an uncomfortable position. I hope the best for you, your cousin, and your mom. Get screenshots, maybe show your mom and stop talking to him altogether. Not much you can do. Your dad sounds like a toxic dump, and why would you want that in your life? Sounds like your cousin is happy ignoring him, but I'd let her know she has your support if she decides to block him, which she really should do. Then I'd really distance yourself from him at warp speed. He's brought nothing to your family but pain and a laundry list of entitlements, from what you say. You owe him nothing. Tell mom, dad's wife, and cousin's parents with screenshots of his sick messages. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry you're dealing with this. Cousin needs to block him. You all need to block him. Am I the a-hole for turning my sisters against my stepmom? So my stepmom is an influencer with a pretty sizable following on Instagram, not crazy high, but high enough. Her whole brand is what I can only explain as a cottagecore rustic stay-at-home mom. Complete with the fluffy sweaters during the fall and dressing all of us in the same outfit on all our outings for cute pictures. I will admit it was fun at first since we would go to all these fun places and basically feel like models for a whole day, but it got pretty boring and tiring really fast. It's not fun having to stay outside in the cold or heat for hours or have people manhandle us while they're putting on pounds of makeup on our faces or posing us. Seeing the pictures on Instagram, I could tell they were photoshopped to a pretty big extent, and it doesn't feel nice seeing what people basically want you to look like even though you know you'll never look like that. My stepmom has brought us to clubs and events where she'll basically ignore us until one of her friends or one of the guests decides they want to take a picture with us. My mom is really sweet, and she's wonderful and gives us all her attention on her days off. Except it's really obvious when she's on her influencer mode instead of her mom mode. I'm old enough to ignore it and go with the flow, but my younger sister has been struggling a lot with self-esteem issues and basically being pushed around. She's thrown tantrums at different restaurants and events when cameras are directed at her, and she's locked herself in her room to escape outings altogether. I don't know where I saw it, but I saw somewhere that someone had a sweater saying I don't consent to have my pictures taken, where they would wear it to all the events over their clothes, and I thought it was really cool. Sadly, I don't think I would be able to get sweaters like those, but I told my two younger sisters to just tell photographers and others that they didn't consent to have their pictures taken. They've used it at a few events, and it's worked a couple of times. I told them that if they didn't listen to first time, they just had to scream it out loud to get it through people's heads. My stepmom was really shocked, and I can tell she's really upset, since this probably affects whatever brand she's been building throughout the years. I feel guilty since I always knew that being an influencer was something she really loved, but I think my younger sisters have a choice of whether or not they want to be in that brand. My dad has sat us down and told us to go along with what our stepmom wants us to do, but I don't think he's realized just how seriously she takes this. She's taken us out of school or had us leave sports or events just to take pictures or go to events she deems important. It's affected all our lives, and I think me and my sister should have a choice of whether or not we want our lives shown for the world to see. My stepmom has asked me why I turned my sisters against her, but I just told her that it's their choice, not mine. AITA? I can't even imagine. It's hard enough on the self-esteem growing up as a girl in a world where your own parent isn't photoshopping your pics. The body changes alone, and the changes of those around you, are enough to screw with your head, let alone the added hormones, media's interpretation of beauty, etc. to then have your own parent change your appearance to look better on social media. That's nightmare stuff right there. I'm glad I grew up before the internet was a big thing, and especially the era of parental influencers. Note: I know boys also suffer self-esteem issues, but I'm a woman and can only speak to my experiences as such. Love yourselves as you are. Love your kids as they are. It's so awful that a parent would make their children wait around for hours just to have photos taken. I get it if it's the yearly family picture time or something, but not as a regular occurrence. This is just going to teach the kids that they're only as important as their parents' image. That's why you shouldn't use your kids as props in your public image. Auntie A, it's time she learned that her business has consequences in your lives and relationships. Start by having a conversation with your dad about the impact of this behavior and opt out if you can. Not sure if everyone's age here, but kids as young as 6 should have some agency over their body and photos being shared. Now obviously, if the family is doing a holiday card, smile and play along. If you're getting pulled out of school and standing around for hours so stepmom can pretend that you all are the perfect family, stand up and say no more. Kids as young as 6 should have some agency over their body and photos being shared. I demand that too, for neurotypical kids. Kids capable of expressing their feelings on the matter should be given agency over their body and photos being shared. This includes nonverbal and even unintended responses, cringing away or hiding from cameras, etc. From around 6 on is when active consent should be required. For kids who are not neurotypical, I'd say active consent should be required at any stage. AITA. You helped your sisters. You also taught them they have power over their own image. You taught them an incredible lesson about consent. The sweater you mentioned, I read about it, too. Here, in our AITA. It was another child of an influencer who didn't want to be in the public's eye anymore. Also on that thread was talk about a fabric that looks normal, but reacts to flashbulbs. Celebrities wear it to fuck up paparazzi photos, images were included. Maybe you could gift your family a set of matching sweaters for a photo shoot you know will involve flash. You're a good older sibling, and your sisters will likely remember this forever. Reflective yarn and thread can be ordered easily online and sewn into clothes. Yarn stores carry it sometimes. It doesn't take much to light up, and a big X can be stitched in at the last minute. This op. Your body, your consent. It's very important for you and your siblings to feel like you have the right to control what happens to your body. Can you try talking to them again and framing it as consent? It's a terrible lesson that my girls have to do whatever grown-ups say with their bodies. You did the right thing, honey. Thank you for standing up. Thanks for listening so far. If story have an update, we will post here. Like, subscribe to our channel for upcoming stories.